I present to you the great and powerful Oz.
You mean he's broadcasting from Emerald City?
No, not that one. The other Oz.
What do you mean?
Giving you all the news you can handle. It's Oswald Balfour on Viral Press Radio.
Hey everybody, that is correct. This is Oswald Balfour live on Viral Press Radio. I'm actually sitting outside the Macy's department store in Murray, Utah, and that's one of the great flexibilities of internet radio. When we started off, I was sitting in the FedEx office location, State Street, and 5900 out in Murray, and my line is about to go down this route, so when you miss me, I am gone until I could plug up in another 10 or 15 minutes. So if Andrew is on, did Andrew call in?
Yes, I'm going to have, if he is, Mr. Andrew Rigby,
Andrew,
attorney at law.
Welcome.
Attorney at law, I make no such claims, son. Come on now.
You know, those guys are the actors that we try to distance ourselves from. But Andrew, before I lose my line, you are on the phone with one of the most powerful women. She's out of Las Vegas.
And that's good.
Her name
never
is,
good in my book.
her name is Ruth Bryant White, and she has some questions for you, or you can take the opportunity to explain to her about the law. I'm going to lose my signal. I'll listen until in about 10 or 15 minutes when I can plug up and rejoin you guys. But she has her own show, and she will tell you all about what she's been doing. And she is a connection that came last week, and you would think that we've known each other since kindergarten.
Well, I'm on the road. Go ahead.
You're on the road too?
I'm driving, yeah. So if there's noise in the background, that's why. So I'll be muting out when I'm not talking, so everybody else can hear.
I'm gonna give both of you guys. Boy, I have something for both of you guys now.
Well, hey,
okay,
we couldn't have picked a better equipped person. You are very prepared. But Andrew, when I get a minute, I want to brief you on the conversation today. That I would say that was a very, very high level, don't you?
The conversation that with the gentleman you put me on the phone with, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a major player, and thanks for doing that. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited. I mean, I'm just thrilled at the way that things are coming together, and they're coming together without hands, like the boulder that was cut out of the mountain and just came down. Nobody know who did it.
Well, I'll tell you what, it makes some powerful moves today, Oz. Great job.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. It was a great day, and it continues with the show. And I'll let you and Ms. Ruth get to know each other and share what's on your minds and hearts with the listening audience. And I'll join you guys later.
If we don't burn up the station.
Yeah.
Listen. There's a lot of power. I know. There's a lot of electricity going on. I can attest to that.
Okay. All right. You go ahead, and we'll talk to you in a few minutes.
I'll rejoin you guys. Yeah, I'll rejoin you guys later.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Andrew. It's a pleasure having you on the great and wonderful Oz program today. And I'm Ruth Bryant White, as he said, and I'm co-hosting for him. And I know why he had me co-host and produce this program tonight, because he's out and about, running around. So that's okay.
Yep.
That's one of the great things about doing this program. But he was telling me that you're a constitutional lawyer, and I wanted to find out more about that. And I know the audience wants to know about your field and what it is you do and some of the great things that are going on in your life.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And first thing I want to state is that I am. When it comes to the law, I'm still doing a lot of learning.
Okay.
I guess learning what I need to unlearn and then relearn, because I think there's been a strong hand of indoctrination played when it comes to how one interacts with the law. You know, is this just an overbearing father authority figure, or is this something that really is just playing a trick on you and convincing you to go along with under the threat of physical violence? You know, there are just things that we need to ask more questions about as a people before we keep going along with certain rituals that we just become accustomed to being the way things are.
Right.
And that's the position I take. I take the position of, you know, just questioning everything. Just wanting to know how this came to be. And the best way to do that is to question the official story of history. We got to read our history.
So do you?
People.
I'm sorry. I was going to ask you. You're spot on this. So I want to ask you what, you know, as far as the Constitution, let's say, itself. What is it that you're finding that does the Constitution line up with what's going on in our society and in our government today?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Yeah.
And here's the if you ever try to bring a constitution into the courtroom, you'll get laughed out of the courtroom. You know why?
Why?
Because the issue at hand is not a constitutional issue. The issue at hand pertains to private contract. The private contract that you were fraudulently entered into when your parents signed your SS-5 when you were born as a baby. You're considered a 14th Amendment citizen. You're considered a 14th Amendment citizen, which is actually a corporate citizen and has less rights than a corporation. So the reality of the game that we're playing is not what it appears to be. I've told Oz this plenty of times.
Good, thank you. I'll be back.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I've told Oz this plenty of times that we can never have 100% certainty about anything. We can only judge our world based on appearances, right? I mean,
absolutely.
That's pretty fair to say. And appearances are of four kinds. Something either is and appears to be, or it is not, and it does not appear to be, right? The third kind is it is, but it doesn't appear to be. And the fourth kind, logically, is it is not, yet it appears to be. Everybody who is listening to the recording of this, make sure that is a huge, huge thing to understand about the world that we live in, is that we have to judge these things based on appearances. And when we interact with our environment, are we interacting with appearances the first, second, third, or fourth time? That is the decision that we all. That is a decision that we all must take charge of ourselves with, to discern our own environment using grammar, logic, and rhetoric, and then supplementation with arithmetic. When we're talking about trivia, learning what you need to unlearn, then unlearning and relearning. And that's what the process of getting yourself on the path of truth is all about. The path of fact is the path of no fraud. Because we've all been engulfed by fraud. We just are unaware of how that hits. How we actually contract into these frauds. And it's I know it's going to be upsetting to a lot of people to hear a lot of these things, and they'll try to call my bluff. I dare you. I dare you. No, please do. I hope that the only reason why I state these points is so that people can go about attempting to vet what I'm saying and doing their own research. Because that's the only way that it'll gain any credibility, what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make any statements. My only purpose is to ask the right questions, to get people to think of what's really going on in front of us, and to understand that it's really just all the world's a stage. When Shakespeare said that, he was very wise in his statement. All the world's a stage. We're playing a game here. You are convinced that you are this quote-unquote three-word name in all capital letters. Yeah. Well, I spelled my name with one capital letter in front and the rest lowercase. However, when it's on your driver's license, you see it in all capital letters. Anytime you have any interaction with any quote-unquote government, it's in all capital letters. Anytime you have any interaction with any quote-unquote corporation, it's in all capital letters. I mean, these are what's going on here? Why is that the case?
Can you give me I was going to ask you, Andrew, you're absolutely right. What are some of the examples that you've gone through as you have practiced law? I mean, some of the things, it seems like that our society we're a bunch of people on an assembly line. We repeat over and over again the talking points of the news or something like that. So we really don't know what's going on because we don't do the research to find out what is happening. We're just gobbling up all kinds of stuff that's being analyzed by somebody on some news program, and really we are no better off than before they even started the conversation. So what is it that, I mean, like some instance of some news issues that have happened and, all these different laws that are being passed and things like that. What do you, what are some of the...
They're not laws. They're not laws. Just because a group of people get together somewhere and make something up and put a pen and paper and say, does not mean that it binds a free sovereign being. And we the people are sovereign.
Yes.
The government serves us, not the other way around. Okay. The way you go about enforcing that, though, is a conversation that is ultimately the biggest problem. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, because we're dealing with coercion at the barrel of a gun, and we're dealing with a system that adheres very strictly to the three founding principles of Karl Marx. Karl Marx teaching. Now let's study history just a little bit because it's important. We need to know where our enemy's tactics originated, because we have to be very clear about what that enemy is. And that enemy is of the mind. It is greed. It is altruism. In Ayn Rand's definition of altruism. And if you've read Ayn Rand at all, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But essentially, altruism means that you put the good of the herd over the good of the self. Well, that is the most foolish thing that you could imagine doing, because if you don't take care of you, here's a clue: nobody else will. And that the only time one can focus on helping others is one first takes care of his own temple, his or her own temple. You have to take care of yourself first before you even dream about helping other people. But essentially, what I'm saying is that we, as a people, when did it become just the case that it's okay to allow somebody else to stand up for our action? Does that make sense? I mean, we are talking about defending our own actions. When did that just become an outsourced commodity? I'm pretty sure it's just the nature of the world that the individual reaps the consequence of one's own actions and is tasked with defending oneself against it. I mean, that's the way the world works.
Yeah.
But if you hire an attorney, you're actually contracting yourself to the status of non-competent res, which means incompetent, and pretty much you have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what's going on, and you know you have no idea what's going on. Everybody else in the room knows you have no idea what's going on. So then how could you expect to ever stand for justice? If you're going to sit back and not take responsibility for yourself, how could you ever expect justice?
So, but there are not that many people that look at it that way, though, right? They want somebody to go in and do something for them, and they don't go to do the research themselves so that they can take care of their issue. Am I right?
Of course, and that's all part of the programming. That's part of the corporate indoctrination. Because here's in corporate terminology what you're expected to adhere to. That's above my pay grade, right? That's above my pay grade. Because you're not taught. You're compartmentalized. Your mind is enclosed within the role that you were indoctrinated into accepting as your own decision. But if you make the choice between two predetermined options, is that really a choice?
No.
I mean, is it?
No.
I mean, that's just kind of logical, right? I try to appeal to one sense of logic when making these arguments, because it stands up to zero scrutiny when looked at through logical eyes, a logical perspective. There's no way that the American mindset of today stands up to logic in any capacity. And it's pretty sad because the rest of the world sees it, and it's kind of a joke. I talk to people
we have
all
become
over the globe.
A joke. We've become a joke
all over
this
the
whole
globe,
country.
all over the globe, all the time, and Americans are kind of the laughing stock of the world right now. And
Absolutely.
and it's time for us to be like, wait a minute, There's enough Americans that have a good enough head on their shoulders. So if we just stick together and put our minds to it, we can remove fraud from the process of government. It's very easy to do. Because once you see the fraud, and once you can identify the fraud, and once you do your own research about the fraud, then you understand how to stand up and fight against it. This is a fight. This is a battle. This is life. So you are not entitled to shit in this world. Zero, guilt, nothing. Nobody's going to... Their entitlements are a figment of your imagination, just more of the fiction. You don't see an animal born into the world. You don't see an animal or any species born into the world and say, oh, where's my government going to get my benefits from?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. You know, but it's hard. I mean, you remember when the president first got elected and people were going around a welfare office because they thought they were going to get some Obama money?
President of what? President of what?
The United States.
What?
Obama. When Obama was
president of the United States Corporation. Let's just be factual here because this is an important distinction to make.
President of the United States Corporation
is not the de jure government of the United States. The de jure government of the United States lies with the rest with the power of the few colonies. The president of the quote-unquote United States Corporation is a de facto illegitimate product of propaganda. He has no relevance. In my world, I call him Bam Bam, just like the cartoon, because he's just a puppet that fucks everything up. I have no problem being completely clear. He is a socialist. He's a Marxist. He's a red diaper baby. You need to do your research and look at what the history of this man really is.
Oh,
he is not in any shape or form what he was sold to the American public to be. The world does not run the way most people think that it runs. And it's pretty sad when people turn against their brothers and sisters over shit that's just fiction and made up to keep them occupied so that they're not actually focusing on the real battle, which is focusing against the tyranny behind what is government. What is government? Do we serve the government or does the government serve us? It's one or the other.
They're supposed to serve us. They're supposed to serve us.
Well, what's happened?
Oh, we know better than that, and you're absolutely right. I mean, this is a propaganda administration, pretty much, and it's actually been happening this way for a long, long time. It's just that we're just now.
If anybody has any doubts that the United States Corporation is any less tyrannical than Nazi Germany and the Third Reich, just put it this way: if anybody has any doubt, you need only look back to a fascist dictator himself by the name of Benito Mussolini, who said that fascism is most appropriately called corporatism because it is the merger of state and corporate power. Now, here's the question: wasn't Hitler a fascist dictator? Is there potentially a reason why there are fasci on both sides of the quote-unquote House of Representatives? Is there potentially a reason why the same exact style of propaganda used today was used back in Nazi Germany? Is there potentially a reason why our water is dosed with fluoride? What was the first population that actually had their water forced dosed with pharmaceutical fluoride, sulfuric fluoride? Could it be that it was potentially the Jews in the Nazi internment camp? Was that because they just wanted the Jews to have white teeth on the way to the oven?
No.
Or was there a potential that they could be actually inducing a state of complacency, comatose, docile? Could it be that makes an individual more controllable when they are cut off from source and their pineal gland is calcified thanks to fluoride in the biological computer? Is that a possibility? Or am I just talking out my ass right now? Because,
no,
there's
you're not.
always a possibility. There's always a possibility.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
There's plausible deniability. Here's the thing, is that the people who choose to go with their plausible deniability, and they can take the blue pill all they want. That's their right, their decision. I stand for that decision. I stand for free will choice. If you want the red pill, then we have a conversation offline. I've already gone a lot deeper than I usually go over the air tonight. But these are all just questions.
That's because I asked you a deep question. I mean, these are things, a lot of times people don't understand that's going on out there. It has nothing to do with who you like or anything like that. It has to do with what is actually happening. Now, our country is totally being destroyed at this point, and it's been in a process for a long, long time.
Oh, it has. It's been in the process for some time now. It actually, the decline really began during the Reconstruction of 1861. And if we study our history books, if we study the 14th Amendment, study why it was created, study what the result of it was, and then realize that it created a new level of citizen. It didn't free any slaves. It made everybody a slave.
Right. It made everybody a slave, absolutely.
It made, all men equal under the law, under the color of law. The color of law is treason. It's high treason, folks. And we are actually under enemy occupation. By being a 14th Amendment citizen, and here's the secret, you have contracted into being an enemy combatant, literally. And we can leave it at that, because right now that presents you with quite the conundrum, doesn't it? And that presents anybody listening to my statements here with quite the conundrum. Because I'm an American, right?
Yes.
Really?
You are American.
Am I?
Aren't you?
Oh,
You're in the United States of America. You were born here in this country. You're an American.
Absolutely I was. However, am I a United States citizen?
You're supposed to be a United States citizen. I want you to tell me the difference of what's going on, because I want the definition.
Well, I'm going to give you a link, because it's going to keep you occupied for some time, and I hope and I challenge anybody listening to my voice right now to vet every single statement on this website thoroughly, because I did. And I challenged every single statement I could possibly find on this website, and found it to be beyond refute. So, you ready?
Yes.
USA versus, or VS, US.info.
Okay. You want us to look that up?
Whenever you get the chance. And you get some time, please do. And the first and most important statement at the very beginning of this webpage is the very first sentence below the truth as I see it. Below the truth as I see it, the first sentence in bright green writing. Please, are you on the webpage right now by chance?
I'm getting ready to look it up right now, but I'm getting ready for us to have a break as well, but I am looking it up. Let's see.
Okay, well.
And it's USA, no, hold on, it's USA USA versus US.info.